today I'm going to be talking about Purna AI's deep research function, which will help us convert a research question into a fully cited systematic review. So in order to get started, we're just going to turn on our deep research function, and then we're going to type in our question just like we'd ask any colleague and click on go. Essentially what's going to happen now is that we're going to get a planning panel that shows up right here, which helps you shape your research in terms of the kinds of publications that you want, the kinds of studies and research resources you want included, instead of just clicking on go and hoping for the best. So now that we have our planning panel up here, we can see the outline of what the systematic review is going to look like. We can decide how many papers we want to screen, so we can change that depending on our preference. We can see how recent we want our papers to be, say in the last 5 years. We can also decide what study types we want to include in our paper, and then we can also decide if we want to include or exclude gray literature. We also have a conditional option, so you can decide what kind of gray sources you're okay with including in your systematic review. Once you feel comfortable with all of your options, you can confirm them and then click start. Okay, so once your research has begun, you can monitor how the research is running. So you have this panel right here where there's a timeline on what the platform is doing and where it is in the process. You can also see every source that it's scanned through and its decision on whether the source has been included or excluded. So there's complete transparency in the process. You can open the PDFs or the links to each paper that is being reviewed. So now that the research and the paper writing has been completed, we can see the completed timeline. We can also see an overview of the entire review. We can see the systematic research plan, the evidences, claims, and provenances. In this tab here, we can see every single source that has been scanned for. We can see decisions on including or excluding a source, and if you hover your pointer right over it, you can see why they have been included or excluded. Each paper can also be accessed via its link, as I mentioned before, and you can see any flagged gaps in the research. We can open our document and our files and see a completely cited systematic review ready to go. You can also change citations to your preferred format with this toggle up here. That's all for our systematic review function, and stay tuned for more.